Hi, it's Leslie here. Today I wanted to talk about using YouTube to learn languages and how to adjust your settings to get a better result. So, learning a language is very time consuming. It might take, anywhere from 100 hours more to start seeing results, up to maybe 1,000 or even 2,000 hours to get a grasp of the language. And if you go to a tutor, it's going to be very costly. If it's $15, $20, $30 an hour, you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars, $20,000 to learn a language. So, you can save a lot of money by going to YouTube. The trouble with YouTube is, well, there's a lot of crap on YouTube and you need some kind of filter. So the other thing I've noticed is that you can get very distracted, and before you know it, you end up watching, unbox therapy or Doug DeMuro videos, car videos or something else like that. So I'm going to show you today some settings you can do to make it a bit more optimized. Okay, now I've actually tried to make this video about 8 times already and it keeps crashing on me, so I will go over to the screenshot now. I won't be recording my face here anymore because my computer cannot handle this 5K screen with the webcam overlay at the same time. So I'm going to just record sound only with my screencast basically, okay? And then I might come back and finish the video off face to face. So yeah, I'll just open up YouTube now and talk about it. Okay, the first thing you notice maybe when you're going to YouTube is that you'll find all irrelevant videos on the home page. Most people usually just go to the home page and have a look here. And this is really designed to make you spend as much time on YouTube as possible. So, for example, I have never clicked on anything even remotely like this, so I don't know what that's doing in my recommended feed. And I've noticed, I've got some breaking news stories here. Yeah, these sections I've noticed are sort of 50-50. Some of them might be relevant, some of them are not relevant. On this particular channel I'm not subscribed to any news, but because I've been watching a little bit of coronavirus news, it's suggesting that I watch all this news. Now you can close this not interested here, but it will just keep coming up with bullshit suggestions, okay? So what I suggest is to curate your subscriptions. And instead of going to the home page, never go to the home page at all. Always go to your subscriptions only. And maybe even set this as your YouTube homepage. Okay, so I would also avoid the trending page because, do you want to look at, do you want to learn a language or not? So it's time to set your priorities. And if you're watching this video, it's all about you want to learn a language. So my suggestion is to only watch, only go to your subscriptions page or your library page. Okay, so, but even here, it comes up with some things that aren't really that great. Okay, so the first thing I recommend that you do is to actually, if you don't want to remove all your subscriptions, and I'll show you my subscriptions here. So if you can see these are very well curated. That's all I have on this particular channel. I only have 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 5, 30 channels, okay? 29 channels. So if you don't want to remove all your channels, what I suggest you do is to make a second YouTube channel. And I have 2. I have a very well curated one, and then I have another one over here which is my original one, this one that you'll see, which has a lot more on it. as you can see here. Like, it's just got a lot of, it's all languages as well. If you notice, there's nothing else here but languages. It's all either in another language, it's a language learning channel, but there's not a single English channel here. Okay, the trouble with that, with having this number of subscriptions like that, is it ends up, when you go to your subscriptions page, it does look quite overwhelming. Every day, there's this number of videos coming out. That's just the suggestions for that one day. But even so, they're all the language ones. And, I personally try to reduce that number. So that's why I've got two channels. One is, a heavily curated list of just language learning. And then I suppose there's more of an entertainment channel, which gives me, some news and more cooking shows or whatever else. Okay, so now if you look at this channel over here, this is all what I've got to deal with. So it's a lot more. It doesn't look so overwhelming. I've just got, a few videos per day to look at, and that's all. So even I could look at the whole week's worth, and there's only this amount of videos per week, and even this month. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming for me. So that's the first thing I suggest you do, is to get another YouTube channel, and I will show you how to do that now. So you go over here to your YouTube icon, and then you can either come here to switch account, or you go to settings and then add or manage your channels. I have 4 channels at the moment. There's a reason for that. So I was banned from YouTube, so a couple of my channels disappeared. So that's why I've had to create new channels. So before I get too in depth in this video, I also want to say one of the other things you'll notice is I don't actually have this in Russian at the moment. One of the obvious things you can do is come over here and change the language and the location, and I'll show you how to do that now. You just go down there, pick whatever language you want. The trouble with this is, I'll show you in a minute why I didn't discuss this first. So this sets up all your interface in whatever language you choose, and I normally leave it as Russian, and the location is in Russian as well. Let me have a look. Russia. Okay, so that's done, and I think, let me just check. Yeah, what you do then is you can change the account here, and you can change which one you are signed into. So this one I've already got it in Russian. I just wanted to show you how to do that. So the thing with this though is it doesn't seem to really affect what videos you get. You can type in here, learn, Russian, for example, and you will see that all the results are still in English, actually. The next thing you can do is you go to the history, and you can actually clean your watch history. That will be this one. And you can clean your search history as well, which will be this one. So even with that, even if I clean that, I can clean it now. We'll clean it, and we'll clean the history as well. Okay, so we'll search again, And it still doesn't really change much with the search function. So one of the things that I figured out pretty soon when I was learning my first language is that you get different results if you search in the other language. So if I was to change this into Russian, I've just pressed Windows space on my keyboard, and I don't know what it is on the Apple. So if you type in izuchaj, which is learn, let me just have a look. Ruski yazik. Okay, then you'll start seeing some Russian results. So these are very different results to what we just saw. So just search in the actual language that if you want it, if you want it in intermediate, that is, start using the actual language, because you'll find out more. I also wanted to say that look in other people's subscription lists. Some people set their subscriptions to private. I intentionally set mine to public so that I will link these two channels as well, so you can have a look. You can check out all my subscriptions. But some people put them private. I've put them public just so that you can look at them. Some of these I actually found through other people and what they watch. So that's what you can do. The other thing I wanted to show is this page is not that easy to get to. So if you want to actually see all the full subscriptions, normally you get this. You only get the first 12 for some crazy reason. So you actually have to click subscriptions here. Then you can come to the full list. I think YouTube doesn't like you knowing how to get what you want. Anyway, so the liked videos, I don't go there much, because you see I've liked my own videos. No one's going to want to really watch the same videos again. So the watch later, I tend to do this and add things to the watch list. So say I want to watch, I don't know, this one. Well, I'm not doing that one. This one. So I would add it to the watch. I've already added it. So there's that. And the last thing I wanted to show you is to use, it's going back to English for some reason, probably. The other last thing I wanted to say is to use playlists. Now, YouTube doesn't have a function where you can add playlists. So let me just say I go to this channel here, Learn Italian with Lucrezia. If I go to her playlists and it says in cucina, there's no actual way YouTube you can't actually combine this playlist with another playlist. You can't actually come up with one massive long playlist with only the videos that you want to see. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you, and that's this here, random tube, and you can see that up here. This will allow you to combine as many playlists as you like into one playlist. You can get the playlists automatically, or you can authorize it. I haven't actually used this. I used it for a few days in the beginning, but I think I've just learned to look at my subscriptions only. Never go to the home page. Don't ever go to the trending page, and just go to the subscriptions, and not get too distracted with all these other videos that are popping up in my face. And I never ever subscribe to anything other than the languages. So I've really prioritized that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I hope it's been some sort of a help. There is also, I'll quickly just say, there is also a way to make Firefox in another language. It's the settings here, and then you can set the language down here, so you can add as many and put them in the order that you want. So I'm not going to make a separate video for that. I'll just tack that on the end there. So yeah, that is all I have for you today. So I hope it's been some kind of help. In the next video I'll probably talk a little bit about which ones of these are my favorite, because although I've got 29 channels here, I've probably got about 5 or 10 at the most that I regularly watch, and I'll talk about them in the next video. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is doing a search for channels. So if you do learn Russian, okay, use the filters so that you can choose for channels, you know, search for channels this way, and you should actually also be able to search by the number of views or the rating. So this is one way of finding really good channels. Yeah, I found some very good channels this way, and you can use this technique, if you like, if you want to call it a technique. You can use this to find other channels for other languages as well, of course. So I don't think people actually use that search function that much and filter it that way, but anyway, that's just a little extra tip. Thank you. Bye. I'll mention one last thing, and that is I use the alerts button, so I get alerts of my favorite channel so that I don't miss them, and also it just prompts me, you know, and you get to see a little notifications thing up here, and it shows me all my favorite channels, just the notifications just from my very favorite ones. And so this is very good feature. Yeah, I use that all just on my, you know, like I think I have maybe half a dozen or 10 at most with this little icon selected. So I also use that. Thanks.